Barry's childhood was characterized by racial segregation. He'd never seen a white person until the age of 3, when the fire department responded to a call in the black community where he was raised. I thought they were so frightened that their faces were whitened from fear of going near the big fire, Barry told the New York Times. Daddy told me they were white people and their skin was always white, that way day or night. The moment that started it all in 1941 when Barry first performed Confessin' the Blues in front of his entire high school. The song choice, considered crude by 1940 standards, offended the adults in the room and, of course, elated the students. And it was this performance and watching his friend play the guitar that sparked something within Barry. It was then that my determination to play guitar and accompany myself while singing became an amendment to my religion, he told the New York Times. Barry wore many different hats. Before he made it big on the music scene, he worked at his father's construction company, at an auto plant, and as a freelance photographer. He also followed in his sister's footsteps and graduated with a degree in hairdressing and cosmetology. Although Barry grew up during an era rife with discrimination and racial segregation, he intentionally blended music from both sides of the racial divide. Curiosity provoked me to lay a lot of our country stuff on our predominantly black audience. He wrote in his self-titled autobiography, after they laughed at me a few times, I began requesting the hillbilly stuff and enjoyed dancing to it. Unlike most artists, Barry penned his autobiography without any help of a ghostwriter. Its simplistic title, Chuck Berry, The Autobiography, certainly isn't indicative of the content. It turns out he was a master of words, and with or without his guitar. Here's one of the most memorable passages. Try as I did, day after day, to cling to righteousness, I was washed down in the suds of sinful surroundings. Barry's first major hit, Maybelline, is also considered the first true rock and roll song. It featured a rhythm and blues beat, country guitar licks, and a Chicago blues flavor. Married with a narrative storytelling, the song was unlike anything else on the radio at the time. Maybelline earned Barry his first record deal and climbed to number 1 on the R&B charts. Now, despite an impressive catalog of cleverly written songs, My Ding-a-Ling was Barry's only number 1 hit single, and while there's a handful of other songs his fans would deem more worthy of the top spot, Barry always stood by his naughty sing-along, claiming he was simply giving the audience what they wanted. Or certain songs and thoughts, for that matter, that almost make tears come to their eyes. He told Rolling Stone, I'd give that to them if that's what they wanted. The hit Johnny Be Good was autobiographical in nature, with the exception of a few narrative liberties. The original words, he explained to Rolling Stone, were that little collared boy would play, but I changed it to country boy or else it wouldn't get on the radio. Now, while the lyric about Johnny never learning to read or write so well isn't true of Barry, the overall theme of finding fame unexpectedly rings true. Barry was employed as a beautician in St. Louis when he was discovered by Chess Records' biggest star, Muddy Waters. In 1977, NASA launched Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 into space, with each carrying a 12-inch gold-plated record containing, among other earthly noises and images, music from a variety of cultures and genres. Including on the record is Johnny Be Good. NASA said Golden Records is intended to communicate a story of our world to extraterrestrials, and what better way to introduce rock and roll to our alien neighbors than with the electric sounds of the originator himself.